Well, the automakers at the D.C. show this week are displaying a new mindset along with their new models. As we saw in Detroit at that auto show earlier this month, there's a clear focus right now on electric vehicles. Today, Clean Skies News talked to Transportation Secretary LaHood about the change of direction among U.S. car companies.
I think GM is very serious about the Volt. I don't think there's any question about it. I think the fact now that they've established new leadership at GM, that was announced today with Mr. Whitaker becoming the permanent CEO. I think you'll see more of these activities. But I think battery powered is what the American people want.
Well, Secretary LaHood also mentioned his recent conversations with Nissan about the Leaf. That's that company's new EV. LaHood said Nissan's emphasis on electric vehicles is obvious since the Leaf is the only car company that's showing in Detroit and in Washington. With us now is Nancy Gioia. She is Ford Motor Company's Director of Global Electrification. Nancy, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank you.
Now, the big showcases for Ford there were not all electrics. Now, we have the Fusion Hybrid, which is that's the big efficient car that Ford is showcasing right now. And that is, that's Car of the Year.
Yep, Car of the Year. We're real proud of the Fusion Hybrid. It's a what we call a full hybrid, can go up to 47 miles per hour in electric mode. 47. It has a fuel economy of 41 city, 36 highway, beating the closest competition by 8 miles per gallon. And it's fun to drive, it's a whole car, and it has this really cool instrument cluster that just makes it a delight.
Oh, wow. Okay, and the other one is the Escape, and this is a plug-in electric.
The Escape plug-in that is
plug-in hybrid.
The plug-in hybrid that's here at the show is actually one of our test fleet of the Ford plug-in project. We have 21 vehicles around the country, all in different utility hands, gathering miles and preparing us for the future. And we'll have our first plug-in hybrid on the road in 2012.
And what are supposed to be the consumer prices for these? What are we talking for sticker prices?
Well, the Fusion Hybrid is about $26,000 to $27,000, depending on how you have that loaded. And the plug-in hybrid we haven't announced pricing on yet. That's still an
we expect it to be an affordable range as
affordable.
Opposed to some others that we're hearing?
Well, it will be I mean, you know, Ford is all about affordable transportation for the masses, and that's all of our technologies, our hybrids, our plug-ins, our battery electrics, as well as our conventional vehicles.
Now, a lot of the other car makers are talking all electrics, and that is what they're out with, the Volt, the Leaf, some of the others. What is Ford planning? Why are you not out with an all-electric yet?
Well, you know, where we are is we look at electrified transportation as hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and full battery electrics. So later this year, we launch our Transit Connect van.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a small commuter
delivery,
van, truck of the year.
Truck of the year.
That will be a full battery electric.
So right now it's a hybrid, is going to be electric? Or?
No, right now it's a conventional. It comes both with a diesel engine as well as petrol engine or gasoline engine. And we'll be launching later this year a full battery electric version of that, really targeted at the commercial customer. 2011, end of next year, we're going to have the Focus Electric on the road, a full battery electric vehicle off of our Focus platform, that same great Focus that we launched in Detroit. And then in 2012, next generation hybrid and plug-in hybrid. Okay. So we see it as a suite of product to meet all the customer needs. Right. So while the infrastructure develops, we still have world-class leading hybrids out there. And as the infrastructure and charging capabilities there for customers, we'll have the plug-ins and the battery electrics in an affordable way for our customers.
Okay, but no full electric until 2011. So you don't feel you're a little late with the Volt and the Leaf?
Well,
and
I mean, again, later this year, Transit Connect. And you know, it's an emerging market, and we're the second largest producer of full hybrids in the world. So we're developing the technology. It's all about affordability, and we're on a transformation of the industry.
And it's also about, as Alan Mulally was talking about in his keynote, you guys are not anywhere giving up on the internal combustion engine. I mean, a lot of these other folks are not talking about it. He was out there saying right now, it's here to stay.
You know, going forward, what we see is growth in electrification. We see growth in biofuels. We see EcoBoost, the gas turbo direct injection, 20% fuel efficiency. 90% of our lineup will have that technology available, along with the connectivity and safe hands, hands on the wheel, eyes on the road, voice-activated features.
No texting.
No texting. So, you know, I mean, all of these are technologies that have to be customer driven, and what we find the mass market, it must be affordable and it has to make sense.
Now, when you talk about a suite, what about the other kinds? Do you see, and again, it's a question of infrastructure and spending, natural gas fuel vehicles, biofuel, and what do you see an entire basket of alternatives, or do you see the direction going towards electric and electric gas hybrids?
Well, what we see is, obviously we have hybrids today, and we're bringing out the other products that are electrified. We have biofuel capable vehicles, both biodiesel and ethanol.
I mean, when you look to the future,
we see biofuels.
Do you see the choices narrowing, or do you see
proliferation?
Consumers?
Proliferation. And natural gas might be great for certain fleets, but it may not have the distribution. So fuel diversity, as we go forward, regionally around the world in certain areas, we see that continuing. We're going to make sure we have the products for it.
Right. What do you see as the biggest obstacles, the biggest challenges to mass adoption of full electrics? Is it simply the sticker prices? Is it the ability of the grid to handle it?
It's affordability is huge. You know, so having that work and make sense for the customer is going to make it's going to make the huge difference. But you have to have the charging infrastructure there. You have to have the capability and access. And then finally, you know, what we find is customers do not want to compromise. So if they feel that they can't go the distance, if the vehicle doesn't meet their needs, they're going to look for another alternative that does. So, you know, making sure the battery technology evolves and the affordability on that purchase price and a reasonable payback period, it's all got to work out.
Mm-hmm. A lot of today was about policy as well. Mullally was out there talking about partnerships with the government. What is Ford looking for as far as policy changes from the government?
Well, you know, I think what we see this as truly a collaborative effort, and what we want to do is work together to jumpstart the industry in certain areas, but it cannot be a subsidized industry forever. That's not sustainable anywhere. So what we look at is let's install and bring the technology, install the battery manufacturing capability. For example, every region around the world, here in the U.S., we need to have that capability. The new technologies required for electrified vehicles and the grid compatibility, so charging infrastructure, these elements. Mm-hmm. And then what we have to do is get to a sustained business model that works for everybody, the consumer and everybody else in that chain.
Okay. Well, the auto show opens to the public tomorrow, goes through Sunday at the Washington Convention Center. Nancy Gioia from Ford, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.